So I made a tiny shell. You might have seen it over on my gallery or over on the community tab or maybe on Twitch because that's where I originally created this. We are doing Squish Tours this month, but it's with a twist. It's a shell challenge, which is basically take this build that I made, this box that I made, don't move or delete any of the walls, and turn it into something. So I love building tiny homes, and I thought it'd be fun to challenge you guys to take this shell and turn it into something. So if you're interested in participating, we're going to be touring them over on Twitch later this month. The deadline to submit is June 19th, and I will have all the details in the description down below. But I decided I would give a go to this challenge as well, and I'm sharing it with you guys now. So let's jump into the speed build. All right. We're starting off in Brindleton Bay here. I put this in like the backwoodsy area. I thought that would be a cute spot for it. I wasn't really sure what vibe I was going for yet. I just wanted to experiment with the shell I gave myself. And I'm starting by adding a lot of metal from Eco Lifestyle. That does not end up staying in the end. This ends up being a very modern looking build, and I'm really proud of how it came out, especially because when I drew this shape on stream, I had no intention of what was going to be the front of the build, what kind of build it was going to be, other than it was going to be tiny, and I was going to challenge you guys to go ahead and build it, and that I would probably do something with it as well. So just experimenting here, we're getting closer to what I end up doing, which is a very modern shape. It's very boxy. I love what I did with it. I'm very, very proud of this one. And the colors are going to change a bunch of different times, but it does end up being a really like neutral, calming color scheme in Oasis Springs and sort of blends into its surroundings. But I try some purples and some greens and stuff here. And then we're starting on landscaping while we're still on this lot. Some of it changes though because it doesn't fit as well once we do move over to Oasis Springs, but it was still fun to get started on it here. And I do like how it looks right now. Although somebody in chat pointed out that the way it looks right now on the screen, it would look great in Mount Komorebi. And I agree. I think it would look really cool there. But that's not what I ended up going with in the end because I just wasn't happy with the green for some reason. I think it's really pretty. I love that swatch of green. I've been using it on interiors a lot lately. But for some reason, I didn't like it outside. So I do end up changing that, but just messing around with plants and some debug and show live edit objects items and playing around with some terrain paint that I'm going to be getting rid of because now we're in Oasis Springs. And we have like grays and earthy tones here. And I end up adding these little awning pieces as well to cover this little porch. And I don't know, there's something about this. It's just like a really simple modern shape. And I love it. I love it so much. Let me know what you guys think of it. I also added partially a green roof, and there ends up being a couple of solar panels up there as well, plus a couple of planters. There's going to be a ladder that you can climb up to get up there. And I just thought it was a bit of fun. And I have structured landscaping. This was just a little bit different than a lot of things I do. I tend to go over the top with landscaping, not having like pathways drawn out like this and like spaces specifically for plants. I tend to just let everything be overgrown and beautiful. And that's just more my vibe, which is going to make it so cottage living is going to be totally up my alley. I'm going to have so much fun with landscaping and building in that pack, but that's not what this is. Here are those solar panels I had mentioned, and then grabbing a couple of these planters as well. I thought having a rooftop garden would be really cute for this build. It's kind of a mix of like eco-inspired and just a modern house in the base game. And speaking of which, this does use a handful of packs. I don't remember exactly which ones offhand, but you'll see towards the end of the build, I start going back in and deleting things and replacing them with other items because this is one of those situations where I use a ton of packs, but most of the packs I only used 1 or 2 items. So I was trying to get rid of as many of them as possible so it wouldn't look so intimidating on the gallery, because typically that's what happens. There's like 1 or 2 items I used from, I don't know, Get Together. And then you're like, oh, I don't have Get Together, so you don't download it. But it's like I used a hand towel. And that was the case here. I used this floor tile that you're seeing outside. I swap it out for a different one. And I used a hand towel. And that's all I had used from Get Together. So that was an easy fix, just swapping out the tile and then putting a different towel, and we got rid of a whole expansion pack. But I'll point some of that stuff out later. We do definitely keep Snowy Escape and Eco Lifestyle because I use Snowy Escape windows and they're so pretty. So I had to keep those. We're also using Dream Home Decorator because I really like that pack and it worked nicely for this build. Some of the items we got with that, we used the sectionals, the new kitchen, tiny living as well. What I'm saying is there's still a decent amount of packs in this build, but not as many as normal. Like the little thing does not scroll over anymore on the gallery. I made sure to get rid of anything that was only using like 1 or 2 items, other than Snowy Escape, I'm pretty sure. Because I think Snowy Escape, the only thing I used from that was the windows, but they were so perfect I didn't want to get rid of them. But you could definitely use base game ones instead if you wanted to. But yeah, landscaping, working on getting some desert plants out here. I'm using a mixture of ones from base game and also some that are from Strangerville with the Joshua trees and some cacti. We also are getting a couple of different palm trees over here. I thought about using the ones from Island Living, but I used the base game ones instead. They do fit this area better, but the Island Living ones are so much prettier and match the world so much better. I mean, they don't match this world, but they look more realistic. I don't know if that made sense, but I just like them better. But yeah, just putting down some fences as well around here. This is a low-lying fence. I think that one's from base game, and it just makes things look a little bit more separated and intentional. So that's why I was putting that there, and then getting some aloe vera plants around. I also tucked the trash can behind that extra wall that I put on the outside of the build. I was originally thinking maybe that would be like where the front door goes, but it ended up being a very good spot to hide my trash can. So there we go. I also added some greenery on the ground with some terrain paint. I just thought it helped brighten up this space. I like doing that a lot in my desert builds because there is some greenery around in Oasis Springs in like random spots, but the lots don't have it unless you're in the area that's all green. And it just looks so dry, which makes sense because desert, but I like adding some greenery and making these spaces feel a little bit more alive. But we're doing the landscaping out back. There doesn't end up being a ton out here, but we do end up having a hot tub out here and it's just so cozy. I really like the backyard. Oh, and a pool as well. That was another thing I had to like repaint some of the stuff from because, there were a couple more get together items I got rid of. The pool color and then the trim on it are both from Get Together. So those end up getting swapped out as well. And did I leave the floaty? I might have gotten rid of the floaty because I was like, oh, we don't need Island Living, but the floaty looks so cute there. So in case it disappears later, let's look at the floaty. I think it's cute. I love that we have the pool floaties, or I guess they're for oceans or pools, but I ended up using the hot tub from the base game. I originally picked this one just because I liked that it had a roof on it, so you're not in the blazing sun of Oasis Springs. But it worked out in the end because then it doesn't come from a pack, so I didn't have to try and eliminate it later on. So that was nice. Getting some chairs from Dream Home Decorator. That table ends up changing a little bit later as well. And then getting some hedges around here. Let me know if you guys like this sort of build where I try to limit pack usage to some extent. Like this wasn't like, oh, I'm only going to use 1 or 2 packs. This was, I'm going to build a house and then I realized I could eliminate a handful of packs. And so this probably uses maybe like 6 or 7, maybe more. I should probably count that before I say that in a video. Don't quote me on that. Let me know if you guys like that or if you don't mind when I use lots of packs or you prefer when I use all of them. I'm very open to your feedback on that. I've definitely heard differing opinions on it. I know a lot of the times I build without limiting at all because it's a lot of fun. But let me know what you're thinking. Anyway, this is the kitchen. I love the layout this came out to be because it's just a little bit different. It's really small and I always will like wrap fully around one corner or have like a back wall only, and having like an L shape in one side and then a small bit on the other. I just really liked it and I'm enjoying having these separate stovetops and ovens. I actually ended up using one of the countertop ovens on top of a mini fridge here and it worked perfectly for a tiny space. And then using the tiny living table, which I feel like I've been overusing lately, but it was just absolutely perfect for this space. So using that with the island chairs, what do you call those? Stools. There we go, stools. That came with Dream Home Decorator. And that's that little get-together towel. I always think it's face game for some reason. It's my go-to towel. So that goes away. And so does the plant that is on the table that came from Paranormal, because I didn't need to use a single item from one stuff pack, and those plates as well. I just end up getting rid of a bunch of stuff later so that it's easier for you guys to download. I'm also changing back and forth what colors I want in the kitchen, but I do end up going with an orange wood in the end. I'm obsessed with this orangey wood tone in the Sims. We've gotten in a few packs so far, and Eco Lifestyle was one of them, so we're using an Eco Lifestyle bed as well, but that kitchen was just, I needed to use it in that swatch, so apologies if you were so sick of the orangey wood tone. I'm so obsessed with it, and I'm probably going to keep using it, but I've been trying to play with the other colors as well. But here I am messing with a sectional sofa so we can have a seating space facing a TV area. I do end up swapping out one side to be a chaise lounger instead. It fit this area so much better. And then there's a little desk hidden behind as well. So this is a tiny home for 2 Sims or 1 Sim. But since scooting works in beds now, you can have 2 Sims sleeping in the bedroom space. There's 2 seats to sit and watch television. There's a computer, 2 seats at the table to eat, a bathroom. I was really happy with how much I was able to fit into this space. I don't remember how many tiles it is. I want to say it's like the middle tier. I know it's not a micro home, and, well, actually, it's probably, I'm not sure if it is considered a tiny home at all anymore because I added so many platforms onto this build on the roof and outside, but I didn't add any walls or actually add any interior space, so I think it's okay. That was the rules of the challenge anyway. And if you guys are interested in submitting a build to potentially be toured on Twitch later this month, do let me know. I might be able to also cut down that stream into a video. I'm not going to film a separate video, but if you guys would not mind seeing a cut down stream as a video here on the channel showing off some of the builds, I could potentially do some of that. So let me know what your thoughts are on that, and make sure you check out the description for all of the details on how to find the build, what the rules are, and submitting, and all of that. But we're working on the bathroom now. I do like how this one came out. It's a little bit of a funky layout in my opinion because I didn't want to move the window, but I didn't want to put the sink in front of the window because I wanted to have a mirror above the sink. I've done bathrooms where the mirror is not above the sink before, but I prefer when it is. So I wanted to do that, and then just stacking some clutter over here on top of this hamper, and that's pretty much it for this bathroom. And pretty much it for this build. We're going to be adding a couple last decorations and swapping out some items to eliminate some packs. And then we'll be heading on into screenshots. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And if you click that bell, it'll turn on notifications to be notified of every single time I upload a new video. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Enjoy the screenshots, and I will see y'all soon. Bye, everybody.